Okay, so today we'll be learning about electromagnetic waves, right? So I hope we would be able to finish this off today, right? Especially the electromagnetic waves. In electromagnetic waves, Puta, you have got a lot of theory as to when we talk about the electromagnetic spectrum, which is on the screen, you can see, right? You will be learning about the different electromagnetic waves and their uses, right? So you should have an idea about each of these types of waves and for what they are used for. Okay, so that's something to you for you to keep in mind. And then you have to learn about sound, right? So sound is the mechanical wave, right? Is a mechanical wave. So once you learn about the electromagnetic wave, you are coming back to the sound, right? Which is what we learned in the last class, right? Mechanical wave type එකක් තමයි sound කියන්නේ, right? And then propagation of sound. So characteristics of sounds, pitch, loudness, and quality of sound is there. And then our hearing range and musical instruments, and then yeah, we'll be done with the lesson, right? So let's see how far we can go. And also, Puta, I am planning to give you all a small unit test, monthly test for this month today, inshallah, at the end of the class. Okay, I'll just put down some questions and just answer them and send me the pictures through WhatsApp, inshallah. Okay, right. So we'll start the electromagnetic waves. As I have told you all, Puta, in the last class, waves are two types, right? So either they are going to be mechanical waves or they are going to be electromagnetic waves. Electromagnetic waves, right? So mechanical waves, we are done. So today we are going to learn about electromagnetic waves. As the name suggests, right, you can see that they are very different than the mechanical waves. What I mean by that is, Buddha, they need a medium to travel, mechanical waves. But electromagnetic waves, you don't need a medium to travel, such as how the sunlight gets into the earth, even though it's coming through the space, right? And the radio waves, right? It's a type of electromagnetic waves, right? So you can see the participation of material particles of a medium is not necessary for the propagation of electromagnetic waves, right? Okay. Uh, right. So you can see over here, all electromagnetic waves propagate with the speed of about we call it as the light speed, right? We use it like, even though it's 2.988, we to take it as approximation 3. So what does it mean? 3 into 10 to the power 8 meters per second, right? So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 meters, this many meters per 1 second. This is the speed of light, right? So this is the speed that all the electromagnetic waves will travel. So if you can see on the screen, Puta, page number 81, light, the visual range or the visible rays that we can see, right? It's in here. Okay, so it's one type of electromagnetic waves. Then you have the infrared, the microwave, the ultraviolet, the X-ray, the gamma rays. All of them are also traveling in the same speed. But can you see there's a difference in what, Puta? In the wavelength and the frequency, right? The wavelength and the frequency keeps changing according to the type of the wave, but the speed remains the same, right? So Balana Puta, you have some features here. They travel at the speed of 10 into uh, uh, 3 into 10 to the power 8 meters per second in a vacuum. They do not require material medium to propagate, and also they are not affected by external electric or magnetic fields. Right? So these are the characteristics of electromagnetic waves. Okay, so what is this now? What is this picture? Electric and magnetic field of an electromagnetic wave. So I will explain you with this over here. Look at this, Puta. While electromagnetic waves consist of electric fields and magnetic fields that oscillate in the directions perpendicular to each other, the wave propagate in the direction perpendicular to the direction of both electrical and mechanical electric and mechanical field. Now, can you see here, Puta? All of these three, inshallah, in the part 2, grade 11, you will be learning about Fleming's left hand theory. එතකොට පුතා, you're supposed to place your hand, wait, show it for you. You're supposed to keep all your 3 fingers perpendicular to each other, right? So that is exactly what I want you all to understand in this also, right? All the 3 planes are perpendicular to each other, right? Let me show you this picture. මෙන්න මෙහෙම පුතා. Right? So this is exactly what is in your now this has not Fleming's left hand has nothing to do with this, but I just want you all to understand this, right? This is how 3 now ඔයගලන්ට දන්නවනේ පුතා variables දෙකක් when they are parallel, sorry, when they are perpendicular, this is how they look. What if I tell you, let's add another variable to this also, and that is that is perpendicular to those 2. So how would you draw that? Right? That comes in this direction, right? So when I draw it on a 2D dimension, this is the maximum that I can draw. මෙන්න මෙහෙමනේ අපිට මට අඳින්න පුළුවන් පුතා. එක්ක මෙතනින් ඇඳලා පෙන්නන්න ඕනේ. Does this make sense, පුතා? Right? So X, Y, Z, right? So let's go back to that pic over here. So can you see the wavelength is in one is a one variable, right? So not the wavelength, the electrical field, and then you have the direction of the wave, and then you have the magnetic field. So electric field and the magnetic field, they are parallel, they are perpendicular to each other, and along with that you have the direction of the wave also, which is perpendicular to those 2. Does this make sense, Puta? This is also 90 degrees. This is also 90 degrees. This is also 90 degrees. Does this make sense?
Yeah, miss.
Yeah, okay. So this is the what do we tell? Dimension that you have to keep in your mind with regards to electromagnetic waves. The electrical field and the magnetic field are perpendicular to each other, and the wave propagates perpendicular to both of these, right? The direction of the wave, right? Okay, go through this a little bit, Puta. Types of waves and the frequency. See the variations along with this picture here. We'll continue after the azan, okay? Right, Puta. So, what did you all understand from this? Let's see. Okay. When I make a balana puta then, right? So you all can see what is happening to the wavelength as it goes through the electromagnetic spectrum, puta. What can you all tell me? What's happening here? Tell me, puta. The wavelength is. This is the wavelength of radio waves. This is the wavelength of microwaves. This is the wavelength of infrared waves. And then you have gamma rays, which you can see the wavelength is small or big. What can you tell, Huda? I need an answer. Yes? Shafat? Shafka? Can you see, Puta? Okay, the last class, we learned a term called wavelength. No, can you remember what a wavelength is? You have to measure it from peak to peak or crest to crest. So I'm taking from this point to this point, right? So look at this one. When we talk about the wavelength, right, of radio waves, so wavelength is here to here. Look at the distance of this wavelength, right? So it takes this much for one wave to complete, right? The wavelength, this many meters, right? Just imagine it in meters, okay? But over here, look at this one peak to peak, or half of this to half of this, okay? I'm going to take from here, right, to here. So that completes one wave, no? Right? So can you see how short it is? So what can you understand, Puta? In an electromagnetic spectrum, the wavelength, right, is low, is high in uh, this part, right? And the wavelength increases in gamma rays. High and here it's low, right? The wavelength is shorter in gamma rays and the wavelength is uh, longer in radio waves. These are radio waves, right? But when you talk about, so in the variation, you can see, Puta, that when we talk about the frequency, it is the opposite, right? What is frequency? Frequency is vibration per unit time. So if it is going to go like this, right? So it's going to be faster, right? Faster in the sense the number of oscillations that is going to take per unit time is high in this or this, Puta. What do you think? What do you think? Number of oscillations, number of vibrations per unit time is higher in radio wave sets or the gamma rays. What do you think, Puta? Come on. I need answers. Shafka, Shafat, Muaz, did you all understand what I was telling? I can't hear you all. Did that make sense? Okay. If you all want, should I repeat it again, Puta?
Yes, teacher.
Okay. So what I was telling is, here see Puta. අපි මේක මෙහෙම capture කරමු. Right? Let me take it to the green screen. Okay. දැන් බලන්න පුතා. Let me okay, you all can see the electromagnetic spectrum, no? So electromagnetic waves are how many types, Puta? There are many types as per according to your book. So spectrum එකක් කියන්නේ මොකද්ද පුතා? What is a spectrum? It's not. It's a range of waves, right? So types of waves. They differ according to it. So because of that only we call it as a spectrum, right? So බලන්න පුතා මෙතන ඔයගලන්ට දීලා තියෙනවා කීයද types of waves? Gamma, X-ray, ultraviolet, visible rays, infrared, microwave, and radio waves. So how many types of electromagnetic waves are you supposed to remember and learn? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So remember these 7. Okay. So they are going to have a range of frequency, right? So අපිට පේන ටික බලන්න visible range එක බලන්න, right? Visible range. They differ from how much to how much, Puta? 4.28 to 4.28 to 7.69, 10 to the power 14. So this one is our visual range. මේකේ තමයි පුතා අපිට පේන හැම රේස්ම තියෙන්නේ. Right? The sunlight, the light, the colors, all the colors, right? The rainbow colors, right? All of the colors are in the visual range or the visible rays කියලා අපි කියනවා. Right? Anything, any frequency. අපේ අර hearing range එක වගේ තමයි පුතා. Right? What we can hear is 20 to 20,000 hertz, no? Right? What we can see is 4.28 to 7.69. Anything other than anything above it or anything below that, we can't see, such as the infrared rays or the microwaves, the radio waves. අපිට ඒව පේන්නේ නැහැ පුතා. Right? But there are some animals that can see those. Right? ඔගලන්ගේ remote එකෙන් ray එකක් යනවා. Right? Every time you change the channel, you increase the volume, decrease the volume, there's a ray that goes out, right? But we can't see it because that is not in our visual range. දැන් මේකට frequency එකක් තියෙනවනේ පුතා. ඒ කියන්නේ, right? It has a wavelength also. Right? It's a wave, right? So you can calculate it. V equals F lambda. Right? So what is the speed of it? What is the speed of the electromagnetic waves, පුතා? ඒක මාරු වෙන්නේ නැහැ. අපි ඒක ගානක් හදද්දී අපි ගන්නෙ කොහොමද පුතා? 3 into 10 to the power 8 කියලා තමයි අපි ඒක ගන්නෙ. Right? Can you see? They travel at the speed of 3 into 10 to the power 8 meters per second. So what is the frequency? Well, frequency differs from whatever the type of wave. Then can you see it has a wavelength also. එතකොට පුතා මේක constant නම් මේක change වෙන්නේ නැත්තම් for each of these rays. මෙයා අඩු වෙනකොට මෙයා වැඩි වෙන්න ඕනේ නේද? Does that make sense? This is constant. If this is going to increase, this should decrease, no? Or the other way. If this is decreasing, this should increase. Does that make sense? Why today very silent? All of you are very silent today. Shafka, Shafat, Muaz. What's up? So all you have to understand in this is, Puta. By the way, am I audible to all of y'all? Is my voice clear?
Teacher, voice is cracking.
My voice is cracking. Why is that? Shafat and Shafka, how about y'all? Is my voice clear to both of y'all? Or is it the same?
Yeah, I can hear.
You can hear. Okay. Shafat, do you hear me clearly? Okay, I can't hear from him. Shafat, can you hear me? If okay, let me drop him a message and see. Mehemai Puta, the concept might be new to y'all, right? But the only thing that I want you to understand is this variation. How is this changing, right? This one and this one. Okay, I'm going to share two screens. Right, y'all can see this now. මේක මතක තියාගන්නකො පුතා. Wait, let me drop the message. Oh, we'll see. Right. Okay. So, Shafka, Muaz, y'all can hear me clearly? Shafka?
Yeah, I can hear.
Yeah, okay. Right. So, what I wanted to make y'all understand here is, Puta, now you can see that there are different types of electromagnetic waves. Harida, there are different types of electromagnetic waves. Make a complicated කරගන්න ඕනේ නෑ පුතා. මේක ගොඩක් simple concept එකක්, right? So electromagnetic spectrum, you have different types of waves. හරිද? There are 7 types that you all should know. In these 7 types, as you go down the types of waves, from gamma to radio, right? You can see what's happening to the what do we tell? The frequency. The frequency is decreasing. Sorry. Yeah. The frequency is decreasing. So can you see that here? When you go from gamma to radio waves, right? The frequency is decreasing. Harida. But when you go from gamma rays to radio waves, the wavelength is increasing. තේරුණාද පුතා? ඒක තමයි ඔයගොල්ලෝ තේරුම් ගන්න ඕනේ. They can ask you questions in MCQs. They can give you some sentences about this and ask you for how the variation is taking place, right? So what did I say? From gamma rays to make a radio waves. මෙතන mark කරලා නැහැ radio waves. From gamma rays to radio waves, if you go, you can see, Puta, that the frequency is decreasing. මෙතන frequency high. මෙතන frequency low. හරිද පුතා? හැබැයි ඒකම ඔයා wavelength වලින් කියනවා නම්, if you are going to tell from wavelength, you can see here the wavelength is very small. The wavelength is very short. But here the wavelength is from here to here. Can you see? From one or one peak to one peak. Right? You can see it's very large. So if I ask you පුතා දැන් මේක range එකකනේ මෙහෙම යන්නේ, right? If I ask you මේක බලාගෙන මට උත්තරේ කියන්න පුතා. Let's compare X-rays and micro, right? Which one will have the higher frequency? Microwaves the X-rays the. What will you tell? Which one among micro and X-ray will have higher frequency කියලා මං අහන්නේ පුතා. Higher frequency කාටද මෙතන තියෙන්නේ? මෙයාටද මෙයාටද? Tell me.
X-rays.
X-rays.
Yeah, highest frequency is in X-rays, right? එතකොට දැන් අපි තව එකක් බලමු. Ultraviolet and infrared. Out of these two, which one is having the higher wavelength? Higher wavelength. Which one is having the higher wavelength, පුතා? Infrared the X-ray, infrared the ultraviolet the.
Ultra. Violet.
Infrared rays.
Infrared, right? I asked you which one is having the higher wavelength, පුතා. මෙයාගේ wavelength එක බලන්න මෙතන ඉඳලා නැත්තම් අපි බලමු මං හැම වෙලෙම කියන්නේ peak to peak කියලානේ. Peak to peak. This much infrared. But look at the ultraviolet, right? It's here to here. So what is it? It's shorter in the ultraviolet, no? But longer in the infrared. Okay, so this you should understand. Okay, where if I were to draw this for you all, not to draw this, if I were to explain it to you all, පුතා මම මෙහෙම explain කරන්නේ. I'll draw one of these arrows. මේ පැත්තට යද්දි frequency is increasing. Radio wave to gamma. ඕනම විදිහකට කියන්න පුළුවන් පුතා. gamma to radio frequency decreasing කියලාත් කියන්න පුළුවන්. එතකොට arrow එක මේ පැත්තට මං අඳින්න ඕනේ. මං දැන් මේ පැත්තට අඳ හින්දා I'm going to tell it like to radio to gamma the frequency is increasing. Right? For this same side if I see the this one පුතා. But මං අනිත් පැත්තට අඳින්නම් මේක. If I go from gamma to radio, right? And තව confused වෙයි. arrow එක ඒ පැත්තටම තියමු. If I again go from radio to gamma, right? When I want to tell about the wavelength from radio to gamma, the wavelength is going to decrease. Okay? මෙච්චරයි තේරුම් ගන්න ඕනේ පුතා. When you go from radio wave to gamma waves, frequency increases but the wavelength decreases. දැන් මැද දෙන්නෙක් compare කරලා ඇහුවත් ඔයාට කියන්න පුළුවන් වෙන්න ඕනේ. Right? Does this make sense? What about the speed? Speed remain constant. Light speed. This is also called as අපි c කියලාත් මේකට කියනවා. Does this make sense, පුතා? Did you all understand? All of you all.
Yes, teacher.
Okay. Shafat, did you understand, puta? Shafka?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Okay, so the next part is what are the theory part. Okay, go through this page, please.